Today we're going to be talking about abdominal bracing. I see a lot of things on social media and different articles. I mean, this is always debated on how do we brace the core of the midsection properly. To the best level of my knowledge, this is the best way to do it. We know if we're bracing our midsection, we need to build what's called intra-abdominal pressure. Now, about 30 years ago, from research out of Australia, a lot of focus was put on transverse abdominis activation. So that's where we got that kind of belly button to spine feel. So a lot of people, if you'll see in a picture or video, we may see somebody going into a squat where they're pulling in through here, right? So now we're concentrically contracting transverse abdominis, a little bit of rectus, a little bit of obliques. The best way to load the core to get it ready to adapt to a load and both move the body efficiently, effectively, and safely is to actually eccentrically load from the inside out using intra-abdominal pressure. So we don't necessarily want to see this hollowing or this belly button to spine. We want to see kind of a Buddha belly with this kind of feel of building pressure from the inside out, and it's not just A to P or front to back, it's all the way around. And that's going to be first preceded by proper breathing. Now we'll preface that with saying if you've had years of poor breathing patterns or were a secondary respirator, a chest dominant breather, we may have to do some things like some foam rolling on the T-spine, some mobilization through the rib cage, different things as soft tissue to get ourselves the ability to be able to breathe and load adequately here. So I'm going to go through our 3 drills, 1 breathing drill and 2 drills to kind of feel how to build a lot of pressure and how to load this properly to help you just learn how to brace your midsection a little bit better. So this breathing drill, I picked this up from Perry Nicholson. It's just an easy default way to get good diaphragmatic respiration. So if you lay down on the ground, you're going to go feet and knees together, bent like a sit-up position. We're going to go left hand under your butt cheek. We're going to take our right arm, grab our opposite arm, and now that we've got our rib cage locked down, we're going to go ahead and let those knees fall off to the right side. Now, if you just take a deep breath from this position, it's almost impossible to take a chest breath. So rather than me being there to coach you, if I give this default position, that breath has only one option to come, or at least start down here and then fill upwards instead of starting up here. And that would be the way we want to breathe to create the proper intra-abdominal pressure and the proper loading all the way around our midsection. So maybe you do about, 20 breaths there or a minute worth of breathing just to let everything relax, really sync up how you should be breathing, then go into these next 2 drills. We do have some of these drills on their own on our other YouTube videos. So this one is a variation of a dead bug. So a dead bug would basically be loaded in what we're going to call an RT3 position for my DNS nerds. But if I get a wall overhead here and I get a nice position through here where my low back is connected to the floor, my knees are right above my hip line, I'm in triple flexion from the ankle, knee, and hip, I'm going to get my hands on the wall overhead, and just to make sure that my shoulders and elbows are safe, I'm going to bring those in a little bit. And now I want to imagine that I'm going to try to slide myself this way. So I'm going to push and load. Now when I push overhead and load, we're going to get a little bit of what's called a Valsalva, or an increase in intrathecal and intra-abdominal pressure, just from loading overhead. Now I want you to hang here for about 20 seconds, maybe about 5 breaths. We just worked on how to breathe. Now we're going to incorporate that into this move. We're going to push, hold, and you're going to feel that pressure build. So that's one way. So we took pressure from the top, now we're going to take pressure from the bottom. And the way that we're building pressure, which I did not talk about, is as the diaphragm depresses as I inhale, it pushes against the pelvic floor. So it's like depressing a plunger in a syringe, and it creates pressure. So Boyle's law is volume decreases, pressure increases. So you could use a physio ball, you could use a slam ball like we've got here. A really common pattern in the rehab and strength training world, squat pattern. So it's a good one to use. You may need a taller ball if you don't have the ability to get into a deep squat. But let's say I'm just doing my overhead squat. I want to give myself a target to hit here. And now as I go down into my squat, I want to press. Now I'm not letting myself rock back. I'm maintaining neutral, and I'm literally trying to crush that ball with my back end. So I just pressed overhead. Now I'm trying to press through the floor, and you'll feel that pressure, but what we're really doing is eccentrically loading the pelvic floor. We're going to hang here for one breath as we push. Exhale on the way up. And again, press through that ball, build pressure, and exhale. So, if you're wondering, how should you be bracing in moves like a squat, like a deadlift, or really anything, from a plank to running, we need to make sure that we're building that intra-abdominal pressure. We do not want this concentric activation of the TA, the obliques or rectus abdominis. We want to build a really nice, pliable, but also safe and loaded midsection there. So I hope that helps. Check out our YouTube channel for a bunch of other videos, and we'll see you next time.